It really is great to see so many of you here this morning, and I think this has got to be the first breakfast I've ever seen in the council chamber, apart from the German children when they come over. But this sort of layout is absolutely amazing, and I'm absolutely delighted on behalf of Felixstowe Town Council to welcome you all, and particularly Patrick. He is lovely. I think we're going to keep him, actually. He says he's been here since the 24th of last month. Mm-hmm. So really, he's almost naturalised now, isn't he? So I think we could keep you as a trophy. How would that be?
My wife will complain.
Oh, you are. Right. But I think the real thing about this morning is that we should hear firsthand about how important Fairtrade is. And Felixstowe has been a Fairtrade town for a very long time. And to those of you who started that and who have supported it ever since, very well done. And it's become, part and parcel of what Felixstowe does. So I'm really, really proud to be here this morning representing the Town Council and my fellow councillors who are here. Hold your hands up. Look at that, they get up early. Well done.
I've had to do an hour's year 9 homework before I came here.
Are you sure? That's all right then. Otherwise you need to bring a note to explain your lateness. So it's really good that so many representatives of the Town Council are here as well. But the whole theme about this morning is to learn, to enjoy, and really to welcome Patrick. So we're very, very warm welcome. To remind you that if at any time during this you want to go and replenish your food, please do so. You know where it is. If not, enjoy what's in front of you. Thank you. And I allowed Alan to ring the bell.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You do realise that you're the only one outside of Felixstowe Town.
I know, I do
that's
appreciate
been allowed
it.
To
It's been on my bucket list for some time. Yes, welcome everybody. Just to say, enjoy your food and have a refill. Patrick's going to talk to us at about 8 o'clock, around about that, and we've also got Mike Gidney, who's the Chief Executive of the Fairtrade Foundation, who actually is a Suffolk native, so he'll be saying a few words to you. Then Patrick will say a few words. We hope to wrap up the formal part of the proceedings by about 8:30, because I know a lot of you want to get away, but Patrick will stay on and chat for as long as you wish.
Thank you, Alan. I live in Aldborough. My family and I live up in Aldborough, so we're about 3/4 of an hour away, a bit more than maybe. And I was at an Aldborough Business Association event last week, because this is Fairtrade Fortnight, and I was telling them that I was coming down here for breakfast with you, and they were very cross they weren't there first. They're not yet a Fairtrade town. They're not yet a Fairtrade town. But I just wanted to say congratulations. I think this is an absolutely fantastic event. This is probably the smartest and most beautiful with the view Fairtrade breakfast I've had in a really long time. And this is a huge amount of effort. So my first thanks is to Doreen, the mayor, and to Alan, the chair of the group, and also the staff here, because they've got clearly worked really hard. And also congratulations to Felixstowe on such energy in your Fairtrade, in being a Fairtrade forum, Fairtrade town. You've just renewed, and it strikes me that the momentum is going on, and that's something so precious. It's so precious because it's so easy to get distracted in our everyday lives, isn't it? But this matters. I know you know this, and it matters so much because trade is still not fair. And when we were doing our research for this Fairtrade Fortnight, when we were focusing very much on farmer hunger, the thing which struck me most, and shocked me actually, was how much of the hunger that happens every year amongst farming communities around the world, it comes from people who grow products for our breakfast. It's an extraordinary thing. I mean, breakfast, I don't know about you, but we're a very busy family. We race out the door. Breakfast is called a grab and run, and you don't think. But our coffee, our wonderful coffee, which is such a big part of our lives, If you think about some of the best coffee in the world comes from Central America, from Nicaragua and Colombia and Peru. And there, about a third, just over a third of farmers run out of money. They don't make enough from their harvest. They run out of money, and they have between 3 and 4 months of hunger every year. Every year. And tea farmers, I'm sure Patrick will tell us in much more detail, but thinking about the main tea-growing communities around the world, so East Africa, South Asia, children there are malnourished. About 30 to 40% of children are malnourished. In Malawi, that's 50% of children are malnourished, and it's just because they're poor. It's just poverty. And the thing which I think is so shocking about that is that, I mean, I know that we would all know this, but we can change that. We can just change it by shopping differently. It's the kind of thing which we can end if we put our minds to it. And that's what I find so inspiring about working in Fairtrade, getting to work with people like you and other communities where everybody is trying to pull in the same direction. And if we could just capture that energy and encourage others to join in, and encourage others just to look a bit more carefully, to look for Fairtrade when they go shopping. Together we could drive out those kinds of problems. We could stop children in Malawi, in tea-growing communities, from going poor, from being so poor that they're malnourished, they're stunted. So I really can't tell you how much I'm grateful to you for the energy and effort you've put in here. Congratulations on everything you're doing in Felixstowe. And here's hoping that together we can make a really lasting difference. But the person who can tell you more about this than anybody else in the room is Patrick. So over to you, sir.
Wish you luck.
Yeah.
Do you know the English for good morning?
Yeah.
You go that way.
Patrick's not leaving us, he's doing a walk down.
Jambo. Asante sana. You're now part Kenyan. You're almost there. That's how we greet each other in the morning. I'm Patrick, and before I really lose it, I have to remember people are going to work. So if I sound a bit hurried, it's not that I'm running out of things to say, it's that I have to say it in a hurry. So I'm Patrick from Kenya, and as you know, Kenya is, the technology is, Kenya is in Africa, and we are at the East Africa. So where I come from, the district, the county is Meru County, Nyambene Hills. Nyambene Hills is 40 kilometers north of the equator. So you are looking at eastern Kenya and then at the equator, and I will be at Mount Kenya here, then Meru National Park, and these forest rivers, the green that you can see. That is part of Nyambene. That's where I come from. And Nyambene is a section of, next, yeah, that's Nyambene. You can see the hills, it's called Nyambene Hills. The hills that go on and on, the greenery of the hills, the rivers that pass through, and the beautiful trees. And because we are 1,800 meters above sea level, we get a lot of rain, and the sunshine that comes in, it's very conducive for tea growing. I'm also a father. That's my family. Megan, the tall one there is Megan. She is 10 years old. And that's Melissa, just shorter. Me is 6. She has lost her front teeth now. They are growing. And Barak seated with his mother. The son is 3 years old. And that's Eliud is the neighbor's son who was visiting. So I took a picture like that. And that's my wife Lindia with me in the farm. I have a full permission to be here. she gives me, she has to negotiate. So that they can remain with the people of Felixstowe. But they will be okay to be visiting. So that's me in my farm. I own a 2-acre piece of land where I grow tea. As you can see again, you can see the hills. You can see the hills are undulating. They go like that, and the rivers cut across the catchment of tea. So the environment and the farmer is connected. So the water that flows, the air that flows around us, the wind and the hills and the trees, it's all connected to the tea business. So that's why we are doing there. We are blacking our tea. Tea harvesting is called blacking. If you've seen a tea, possibly, you have seen it in a tea bag. Yeah. But that's how it starts. Tea, I work in Mechimekoro as a tea extension officer. That is a teacher of farmers. I also grow tea because it is my community. And I got a job with the tea company to advise other farmers on how to grow tea. So this is what I do. I teach farmers how to grow tea. And when you take that cup of tea, black and sweet, with the aromas, you feel it, you can feel the enzymes, the flavonoids, the urobigens, those that make tea, the enzymes, it comes from this section of the plant we call 2 leaves and a bud. Just picture that one there. 1, 2, bud. The last one. That is where you black it when it is succulent and soft. To have all those enzymes inside so that you can enjoy that cup of tea. The job is to get it right. So that's how the tea is. We move to my factory now. Mechimekoro is a community of 10,000 farmers. So as tea extension assistants, we have a job to go to every farm and advise them on how to grow tea safely. Because tea is food. And that's where Fairtrade came in and assisted us to achieve that target of safety in food. We will talk about that one later. But this is my factory, where in 1994, this factory was set up in 1960-64 by the good gentleman from England, the Eastern Produce. They came around 1960, they saw a nice area away from everywhere else because we are on the extreme end. The next farm you might see after Mechimekoro might be in Sri Lanka or India. There is no more tea going east from Kenya, Somalia. You are in the ocean. The next ones will be in Sri Lanka and those other places. So we are on the extreme end. So he saw the area, he negotiated with the community before independence, and the people, the community allocated them around 400 hectares. And then they moved somewhere else, and they were given title deeds. Title deeds, they were among the first, my community was among the first to get title deeds in Kenya. So in 1994, the community bought out Eastern Produce. And now we own the production line, the factory, and the estate. The 10,000 farmers owned that. So you know business, when you own it, you run it your way. So when we were under Eastern Produce, selling our tea to Eastern Produce for a commission, they could process on a commission. Sometimes they could take their profit fast. That's every business. That's how they do it. Correct? Nothing wrong with that. So when we bought up the factory, things got better. And in 2007, we got Fairtrade certified. So the 10,000 farmers of Mechimekoro, we had to work for 2 years to get every farmer compliant. Pesticides, no. Chemicals, no. Child labor, no. Gender representation, yes. Where only men used to own the land and the farms and the business of tea, women have to be at least a third. And they are the ones who are doing all the work. but they didn't get the money. So Fairtrade came in and to force men to give up something for the ladies. And it worked very well. That's another story altogether, because the ground of activities started above the Fairtrade. Something else started working at the grassroots. People got more organized. Women got more organized. They are very good with money and saving. So a lot of activities started there because of the Fairtrade. And we are going to go to the premium, which is the icing on the cake. So things got better. And farmers are very happy with that. Because now they have control of the factory. They know what the management is doing. Workers are also very happy because now their welfare is taken care of. When I got Melissa and Barak, because they were after 2007, I got the 14 days paternity leave. Twice. I'm not intending for that. But that was very good, holding the baby and staying for those, not changing the nappies and puking on me. So that experience made me feel like a better mother. And it was because of the compliance, the factory, and to do with Fairtrade certification. The factory is also under obligation. As they process the tea, it is owned by the farmers, yes, but as a form of internal compliance, they have to treat the workers right. The factory management have to treat the farmers right. So for fairness, they are under obligation to give the final price when tea is shipped from Mombasa. The auction, there's a big auction where all the buyers will meet and the brokers and the producers, and then they'll say, Mechemekoro tea invoice number 541, $3, $3.50, $3.99, sold to Lipton. It's gone. You pay for a kilo, let's say $3.99. That time there's no premium. So the factory is supposed to manage itself properly, cut down on costs, manage electricity, manage transportation, manage insurance, and the pay of the final price, 75% is supposed to go to the farmer. So that is an internal mechanism. So the factory to comply must make sure their costs don't exceed 25%. They can be lower, but they cannot exceed that. So at least there is a guarantee to the farmer that something is coming back. And we are not yet at the premium stage, which is the icing on the cake, if I might repeat. So when we do that at a lower level, our tea is sold, farmers are now enjoying the benefits, and they get to elect their representatives. The directors are elected, they hire the management. So it's very democratic and inclusive. Benefit of Fairtrade. Then we go to the next step. What do we do with the premium? Now you might wonder, this guy is talking about 75% of his tea as being paid as an internal mechanism, Fairtrade, by the factory. But I'll tell you, 100% of the tea that is produced by the 10,000 farmers of Mechemekoro is Fairtrade certified and can be sold on Fairtrade terms. But because of the demand, the buyers who are Fairtrade certified, and the CEO of Fairtrade Foundation here with us, he does that job, will come to him and say, I want to buy some tea, Fairtrade. So Cafe Direct is our outlet, and sometimes Tradecraft. So they'll place an order and say the next, because auction, tomorrow now is the auction, they'll be selling tea tomorrow. So Cafe Direct here or somebody who is Fairtrade certified, even if you want them to buy, you could place an order now and say, based on the auction price for Tuesday, I've earned 50 US cents per kilo. So that order is gone. So that is the amount of tea I get to sell on Fairtrade terms. The rest goes to the conversion market, where it is sold and bought in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Egypt. Those people don't mind so much about Fairtrade. So I only get the premium for the tea that comes to UK on Fairtrade terms. Fairtrade terms and is sold as conversion of teas. The people we are trying to convince to buy Fairtrade get to buy my Fairtrade tea as ordinary tea. The 3% that is bought on Fairtrade terms, that is where I get the icing on the cake. And that is the premiums. If I would show you, this is the kind of a school that we are most likely to find in Kenya. With the Fairtrade premiums, the community decides what to do with this money. It is separate from the management of the factory, separate from the workers. We form a bond committee that is includes the 3 of us. And then when the money comes in, the community is participating and saying, we need this. So in this case, the community needed a classroom. It was a sad story because in a room like this, you could be actually up to not where the mayor is seated, up to where the cameraman and the other guys are. You can find 45 kids in this room. So for a kid to get to his desk, you walk on the desk and hop to the chair and stay. And the teacher to teach is right at the wall. The next kid is here, and he has to move around right on the blackboard and give instructions to 45 kids who are, kids are kids. So sometimes that personalized teacher is not there. It was difficult. The choice was either they stop going to school, because the next one was about 10 kilometers away from there, and at 11, 12, that's not a good age. So Fairtrade premiums, we built a classroom. And it reduced the number from 45 to a manageable number. And what happened when Fairtrade premiums, because the community is involved, the mayor will tell you, anybody who gets elected listens to people. So the local politicians got interested. What is the Fairtrade premium doing in Mechemeko? They are building a class. Why? And that would make us look bad. So they built another class. so the premiums pooled the resources. We are in a better position to lobby other providers. The government that is supposed to give up by right. If you are not organized, and the government would like you to stay ignorant all over. You are more manageable that way. But when you are organized, they will listen to you because you are a bigger voice. You elect these people, they should listen. So we got another classroom from that. That was a big plus for Fairtrade premiums. I have not talked about the children you have taken to university with the premiums. I have not talked about the drivers and the mechanics and the electricians that have been trained with the premiums. I have not talked about the community hall that we have constructed with the premiums, and it is used right now. It is in use. And the other thing we are doing is on health. Maternal health care in Kenya, the child mortality rate is very high. You might complain about your NHIS, but I will tell you, please don't try mine in Kenya. The public one is not reliable. It is there, yes. The rest of East Africa thinks we have a good one. But experience has shown me personally, it's not reliable. The private one is very expensive. And for a farmer who is struggling in a tea farm, a acre or less than an acre, and that's where he's getting his food from, that is not a priority. That's what you are building with the premium. The 3%, 1% when it comes, we put some money here, and this has been going on for the last 5 years. Every year we do something. As the premium from 3% comes in, we do something. And you know what the government has seen? The governor in our county, Meru County, promised on a public forum, we complete the project, you put in the doctors and the nurses. So we have been able to pull that resource from the government by the Fairtrade premiums. So when you buy Fairtrade, there is a lot of activities that don't come to be seen. It's like it's a wheel, it goes up, blowing up with the benefits. It starts small at the, I want you to think of the, is it cyclone? That goes down, getting strong at the bottom. Now think of this one, Fairtrade, starting small at the bottom and mushrooming up. Because it pulls things together and then spreads it on the community. So think of the opposite effect of if it were to pull the benefits from Fairtrade, the premium that you pay when you buy Fairtrade tea, it comes to my community, and then a groundswell of activities start and spread across the catchment. And there is no limit of how much they can do, because the business of the tea is made sustainable. And the farmer gets dignity. You know what? You want to have a dignified life. So if you are doing a business that is giving you some income and for your effort, the brokers don't take it all. Somebody tops up something that you can use. You have dignity. That's very important to every human being. That's what we are doing. It's 80% complete. And as the premiums come in, we hope to complete and challenge the governor to do what he said. Otherwise, we want to vote for him again. Another thing we have been able to do. We have, that is the alternative now. And we intend to buy one of an ambulance. This is what could take somebody to hospital if he was going to the hospitals I told you. From the dispensary around the catchment, the next maternity facility is like 26 to 30 kilometers. And you go on a matatu. And the matatu is not like your buses, which will go even with one passenger. A matatu, you have to wait until it is full. I've been wondering, these drivers, it will come and stop. There's only one person, and it will move. That person will get off at a certain place, and a bus stop, and it will move again empty. That will not happen in Kenya. That guy will be sacked. He has to leave when it is full. It doesn't matter if it is carrying a patient who has had an accident. It has to be that. Or you hire. And if you hire, the money now is the problem. When you get a farmer who barely got around 10 pounds at the end of the month from his tea to hire a vehicle at 30 pounds, it's not going to work. So they would rather walk or take a motorbike driven by very young boys who don't have very good licenses. They could end up causing another accident. This is the situation we are trying to avoid by building a maternity hospital closer to the community. These are key things that are very important. The next one we are trying to do is the environment. You understand here when I tell you about this, because rivers are drying up. The way we have been interacting with the environment has not been sustainable. We cut down trees for firewood, and as we cut down trees now, the trees that were indigenous to the area, we planted eucalyptus trees because they grow faster and earn more money. But they sucked up all the water and did not hold the soil very well. So when the rains come, rivers dry up, and when the rains come, they just wash away everything. And then the winds will come and blow away everything. So you have a situation where on the hilly areas, the area, the rivers are dried and nothing can grow there. So we have a situation where we have to address, and we are doing this. This is an area where we are rehabilitating, planting trees, and you can see where the land is walking, that improvised bridge, that used to be a river. But it is no longer there. When the water comes, it just goes away with the soil and it disappears in 1 month's time. So we are planting trees. What we have realized is that when you plant trees, you hold the water. It acts like a sponge. It keeps the water in. And on the slopes, you walk the water to the river. It doesn't run away to the river. You walk it. On the hilly sides, it walks. You make gaps. It walks again. It will get to the river. That time it gets a chance to soak into the soil, hold it together, and retain the stability. And then, that's what we have done. And we have also introduced kitchen gardens. Diversification, because food security again is an issue. So we have farmers planting their kitchen gardens. That's my vegetables, and this is my cassava. I will tell you stories about this. It doesn't end. I've been having this one for 5 years. get some, the still remains there. Breakfast comes from here, and you will likely to get it when you come there. We have farmers who have also gone to growing their own milk. They grow their daily animals, and the surplus is sold for income. The rest is consumed by the family. This has increased overall the food security in Mechimekoro. So the key things we have concentrated on in Mechimekoro is education, health, environment. The three key issues we have been using the premiums on. And imagine 3% has been able to do this. If it was 5%, 8%, 10%, 12%, I don't even want to think of 100% of my team. It would be too much. 8% would be wonderful. We will do much, much more. Build on those things that we have started to scaling up, and it will get the community to a position where our children are at par with the rest of the world. With a good education, internet connection, electricity in homes, water in every home, and the good roads for transportation. And that, ladies and gentlemen, asante sana.
So much, Patrick. As he says, we'll answer any questions briefly now, but I know some of you feel you've got to get away, but don't rush away because Patrick will stay. But if anybody wants to leave now or in the next few minutes, please feel free to do so. Don't be embarrassed about it. But Patrick will answer a few questions if you like, and we'll stay on to talk to you informally, as I said earlier, for as long as you like.
Please don't go. Let's talk. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Perhaps you could explain, Patrick, why the farmers grow eucalyptus, because it's actually very destructive. So they're destroying their own land, aren't they? So why do they do it?
When a farmer gets to use, that is bad use of land, using your land well. When a farmer does that, sometimes he has no choice. The eucalyptus one in money because it has some good timber and it has good firewood. And that fetches the farmer money. So the first instance, the choice is economical choice. He has to live. He wants to eat. He wants to take his children to school. So he won't care about the environment as long as he can make an extra pound, an extra shilling from the land. This effect started years ago. When these trees were cut down, it started longer than we are realizing now. It's like 20, 30 years ago. That's when people started damaging the environment. You know, eucalyptus takes like 7 years to be harvested. So, and they have harvested it for like 3, 4, 5 times, so it is a long time. It's only now that we are realizing the effect it is having on the environment. And to address that, you have to close the gaps, which are poverty-driven. So unless you address the issues that makes the farmer poor, and give him some alternative choices, which will still put money in his pocket, he will not listen to you. So that's why the women groups come, which we started when we gave them they got registered as growers. That affirmative action at the factory as compliance to Fairtrade. A band of women, or more than a band, are growers. And they get very organized. And one thing we have realized, you cannot interlink gender and the environment and climate change. The first person who feels the effects of climate change are women in Mechimekoro. They interact with it at a very close stage. And if they are poor, it's more dangerous. They cannot sustain the changes that are happening and they will be hurt. So what drives farmers to plant eucalyptus trees is poverty. They have to get money. Yes, sir.
Can I just ask, how difficult was it for your growers to actually comply with the fair trade conditions and that you have to become certified? Did that take a long time? Was that made difficult for farmers? Did it cost
majority of it was, some of it was sponsored by the Fairtrade Foundation in Germany. They sent some money as a start-off because they had to send auditors to audit the process. We took 2 years. We got certified in 2007, but we took 2 years because we didn't want to boil it. Yeah. We wanted people to change their mindset. When we got educated and donate at an advisory level, we honed it and we had to design a way where we will get to the people and they own the process. That will be what they do, how they do business. So that cultural change and paradigm shift in their heads, it had to start gradually by organizing them into groups, buying centers, because farmers take their leave on a buying center. They elect a committee of 5 representing the various villages in the buying center, and then they get to talking as they deliver their leave. You interact with them when you are advising them how to grow it, and then ground soil. You create a movement at the root. So they own the process. It is a hand, and 10,000, believe you me, I have 1,500 that I had to visit 3 times, every farmer 3 times in a year. So, and to do it, and to make sure in 3 months' time, I've covered 1,500. The other 3 months, I covered the same 1,500 again, home visits. You watch them as they are going. If somebody has planted tea yesterday, you walk him through maturity of the tea bush and his harvesting. If it has grown very high, it means to prune it, bring it down to manageable level. You demonstrate how to do that. So you interact and become friends. You meet them. Sometimes I could get out of house without breakfast. And whatever the farmer is having, that's what, if you could come, that's what you would happen. If he's having porridge, that's what you will take. If he's having cassava, that's what you take. If you visit a rich man, he might have bread and some meat and butter, and you feel so you interact. That it was hard. Yes. But we got there, and we got the certificate. And we own it. Actually, when they come for his certification, we get a 2-year certification. When others are getting 1 year, they own it. They audit our processes and say, we are there. All systems are owned. And any employee who is hired new must attend a class. We will do that for 1 week. Induction, safety, hazard analysis and critical control points, good agricultural practices. These things, quality management systems. So everybody is in there. It's something, yeah. Thank you. You are.
I was, yes. You outlined the benefits of increasing the amount of the premium by putting up the percentage, but of course you could increase the amount of premium by selling more fair trade. Are there avenues that you're exploring for pushing more fair trade into other countries? Or
The biggest matter, that's a very important question, because I would like to have more than 3% on fair trade tax. The demand is here, it's in your pocket, the UK public, because that is our market. All our fair trade, all these things I've been showing you have been paid for by the good men and women and children of the United Kingdom. And my chairman reminded me, and I was forgetting this. He told me, thank those good people and ask them to buy more. So thank you so much, and please buy some more fair trade from the Chemical. If we get a higher percentage on fair trade terms, that's why I was saying it would be phenomenal. We could build a university with the premiums. I was hypothetically, let's say, how much would £100 go to you in a day, ordinarily? Expenses.
Right now.
How long would it last?
Yeah, 1 day.
1 day, yes. Yeah, that's an average, 1 day. Now, in my case, £1 is 146 Kenya shillings. £10 is 1,406. 600. We are building day secondary schools, the one I was showing you there. The fee for a year is between 9,000 Kenyan shillings to 12,000 Kenyan shillings for a year. But the kids don't spend, there are no dormitories, they go to school and come back home. The government will pay for the salaries of the teachers. The infrastructure is put up by the community like the way we used to with the premium. So £100 will see a kid from a very poor family through secondary school in Kenya. That will be £400, and the kid is through with secondary education. And the family will be better off for it. That is 4 days expenditure, ordinarily. But it will take a kid through 4 years of the most important phase of his life. You let off a kid at standard 8 when he's between 13 and 14. That kid is cut off from the mainstream society. You'll have to wait for 3 years to get his maturity years, like 18 years, and get an ID. And what job will he get with the standard 8 education? That is grade 8 view. The primary education ends at standard 8 in my country. So what kind of jobs will this person be? Semi-literate? Maybe he can read and write, yes. But he cannot do very important things that will earn him money. So if it were a girl, he will go back to the village and get married off. Early childhood pregnancies, complications that come in, and the poor mother, who might be a widow, is now burdened by a grandchild who he can barely afford to take care of. So poverty breeds poverty, and you can see these things happening. When we build a class like that and more of them go to secondary school, on to university. Others, when they pass through, they will go to do technical courses like electricians, plumbers, carpenters. These jobs, these skills that the community need, they will earn a decent living and their life will be comfortable. But this group, which did not transit to secondary school, is lost. Whatever they will do, they may end up with the HIV, end up in jail, and life generally for them is like it's all. That's why we are saying education, health, education, health. That will get more of them into secondary school, and from there, they will have a better shot at life. And you know, believe you me, education, God bless my father, he took me to school. That's why I'm able to be employed by the Chicago Tea Company, and I'm able to visit UK and share this experience with you. Education is the greatest equalizer. It does not matter your color, your height, your weight, it's what's between your ears. That counts.
Mike would just like to say a couple of words about clarification.
No, thank you, Alan. Just to build on that question about how do we grow the market for tea? It's really tough in the UK. So Fairtrade is about 10% of the British tea market. But it's just incredibly difficult, and the main reason why it's so difficult to get people's attention to buy more Fairtrade tea and drive the benefits that Patrick is talking about is because it's all bargains. Most tea is sold on promotion. I think 80% of British branded tea is sold on bog off, buy one get one free, or 3 for 2, or special discount price. So people buy in bulk, they buy it incredibly cheaply, and there just isn't the money collected at the supermarket to drive the kind of change Patrick's talking about. And Fairtrade is the only scheme that has a minimum requirements around terms of trade, the minimum Fairtrade price and the Fairtrade premium. Nobody else does that. But it's incredibly hard to get people to pause before they buy and think about the people behind their products. That's why things like Fairtrade Fortnight, talking in local groups, all of us trying to raise the awareness together. Just if it just stops one person in the supermarket and gets them to think twice before they grab a pile of tea and put it in their shopping basket,
I think something is that maybe that I try with people say, you're going to buy tea anyway. Buy good tea. You're going to buy coffee. You're going to buy wine. Buy good wine.
It's a really good point.
I mean, I've sort of, my experience in Africa, being wine producers and Stellenbosch, you're literally turning workers into alcoholics so that they don't have to pay them. And that's, yeah.
That happens, yes.
And it is about empowerment. And at these ages, I've seen children who are in poverty at birth, and malnutrition in a child at that age, are condemned for life because they will never be able to learn. They never develop fully in terms of brain power. And all it means is, when you're going to have a cup of tea, a good one.
Just one more thing on that. I think you're so right. And the bit which I think is perhaps the most difficult is a lot of the big companies are trading on the fact that not enough of us really care. If enough of us as consumers said we don't want to be part of exactly the kind of thing you're describing, companies would change like that.
Yeah. Because it doesn't make profit. I mean, I'm sorry, I want to talk about myself, because Patrick's certainly. But when we saw apartheid change in South Africa, it changed for one reason only, is that companies in the West stopped making money out of it. It became an unprofitable idea. And it wasn't, the politics and the protest was really good and welcome. But Chase Manhattan Bank, refusing to roll over alone, killed apartheid. And it's people at company level, and that's where the action comes in. Thank you for Fairtrade Foundation. Thanks.
Could I just follow that up? Have you organised for anybody, for Patrick and Fairtrade, to be actually going to the supermarkets themselves, not just the consumers, but to the companies and speaking to them,
Do you know, actually, yes, we do that, but the most effective way is if you can get the people from the supermarkets to go to the farm. You'd be surprised how many people sit in supermarkets buying tea, coffee, cocoa, cotton, and they've never visited a farm.
I know.
So the kind of thing you're describing, Patrick, which is so completely compelling, once people see it with their own eyes, they understand the value and the care that goes into making the product, but also the poverty, and then they're more motivated to do something about it.
Could I just ask Patrick to go over it again, because this is something that I really didn't appreciate. I'm quite heavily involved with Fairtrade, and I really did not appreciate this. Is it absolutely correct, Patrick, that 100% of what your tea company produces is Fairtrade quality, but only 3% of it is sold as Fairtrade? That is amazing, isn't it? And what I find amazing is the Fairtrade premium on just that 3% of his total product is paying for all of this. 3%. The rest of it, all the others are getting a free ride. They're getting high quality tea, picked by hand, and they're not paying the premium. So if we could just push that 3%. I am right, aren't I, Patrick? The figures are right, because they are quite astounding to me.
Actually, that is the irony of the situation. Because of the demand, my tea, you might not see this label anywhere. This is my kind of tea, the Chemicolo tea. This tea is sold to our farmers, and I might buy it as a gift. I'll give you some so that you can go and try. I'll teach you how to make a good cup of tea. This tea is drunk by our farmers at home. It is the same tea we sell at the auction. And our tea is hand-picked. Hand-picking is a different thing. I told you, my job is to teach farmers. If they dip their fingers like this, it will not be right. So they have to lift it up and pick, pluck the two leaves and the bud. When it is really succulent, what happens with my 97%, which is also good tea and can be sold as Fairtrade tea, it will go to the auction. And what happens, the multinationals, I'm not about bad-mouthing anybody, big businesses are there. We have multinational companies in Kenya. They do a wonderful job. They have employed a lot of people, and they pay taxes. They mechanize the operations to cut down costs. And when they produce their tea, they also go to the auction and they buy. So what you get mostly is a blend of my tea and their tea. Machine plucked and my tea hand picked. It will be blended and end up in your cup. It is still good tea, but it does not have that touch, that personalized touch, that tender loving care that the TLC bit of it is lost in the mechanization. And so it's very humane how we do it. And it's very friendly for the environment and sustainable. But business being business, we are lost in the details. So the 97% will go as conversion teas. It's still very good tea. But the 3%, 2% get me a premium. So that's something I wanted to get. It's very confusing when I say 3% only and everything else is certified. Because in the auction, it is not a fair trade auction, where only fair trade teas will come for auction. That will be automatically earning as a premium. I think, Michael, you can ask East Africa Tea Traders Association to be fair trade certified. So that everything that goes through can be fair trade certified and every buyer pays a premium. That would be something you can explore. Because now, that's why I don't get much of the premium. That would do enormously well for my community. I think is that okay, Alan?
That's fine. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
I have one very quick question.
Yes.
How do you make a good cup of tea?
Oh, yeah. That's a nice one. I'll give you a sample of mine. And when you go home, every cup, 5 grams of my real tea. Not the blended. This is from the farm to the packet to the cup. No blending, no extras. And you see, tea is like 100% organic. It's only fertilizer, nitrogen that we have. But then, no chemicals. Absolutely. So 5 grams, 1 cup of tea like this. Boil your water. Don't cook water. Let it boil like, and then put your 5 grams, and then remove from fire and wait for like a minute for the tea to open. This is a open leaf. This leaf, it will open and you see how it spreads. Because in the process it is called tea cutting, tearing, and curling. So the machinery curls that to close in the flavors. So when it opens, you can see it. You can see the color, gold. And then you sieve it. If you have some honey, we recommend some honey. It would be nice if you could just dip a bit of honey and take it without milk. You feel the difference. Honestly, you take real tea. Yes. So tea actually is, don't let the water boil so much. Just let it, bring it to a boil and then pour. Even if you have a tea bag, bring the water to a boil. Immediately it is boiling, you pour. You don't wait for the kettle to shut. So that will now be cooking water. You pour it and wait. It will infuse and you enjoy a cup of tea. It is more, if you have people here have a lot of honey. Farmers in UK. I visited some, they do a bit of beekeeping. It will be better if you take your tea with honey. It's not good, bad for you. Don't take it with sugar too much. A bit of honey, slice of it, and you feel the difference. And if you have lemon, if you want to flavor it up now, you can just a slice of lemon in it as you infuse, and it will bring that flavor. But it will be still the original tea. So your choice is now either add sugar, honey, a slice of lemon, a slice squeeze, leave the honey out for the flavor the way you would want it. But taken naturally, without milk, it really gives you a good start. And something very funny, and my coffee drinkers might not like me for that. Tea does not give you that. You can take 5 cups of coffee continuously, and it will do something to you. You will not feel very free. You get excited, But you can take tea the whole day. We say anytime is tea time. You can never have enough of tea. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That 3%, has it always been 3%? Should it not go up? Who says 3%?
The demand is the issue here. If my outlet, Cafe Direct, if there are more or other players in the industry, if Lipton was to say, I'm declaring the premium and I'll take 2%, Cafe Direct has taken 3%, Finlay's or something like Nestle Foods, they will say, I'll declare a premium. They are already in the system. They just need to declare because they are already buying. What they need to do is just declare that I bought Meche tea and I declare I bought an invoice of this kgs. I'll declare the premium of what I bought. What he needs to do is just declare, and your Michael will fall it up and the money will be in the bank. So they don't do that. So they want to improve their margins sometimes. So they buy it and they don't declare that it's Fairtrade teas we bought, and Michael, this is the premium.
Just to add on that, it's entirely supply and demand. So you're a Fairtrade registered producer group, which means they're compliant with the social and environmental standards. They've got their business well organised, and you've invested to do that.
Yes.
It's cost you, and you've taken that business risk, and there's been some support, but that's you there. You can sell to whoever will buy from you.
Yes.
Some people choose to buy on Fairtrade terms and they pay the additional extra, the premium, the minimum price. Some people just, as Alan said, piggyback on it and choose not to pay because they know they're getting good tea from good farms.
Could I just ask you, Patrick, have you been able to visit our local co-op? Because of all of our supermarkets here in the UK, the co-op, I believe, has the best representation of selling fair trade goods. But I have some issues with how it's displayed. It's on the bottom shelf. You can't always find it. And as part of our commitment to fair trade, we're very much in the chain ourselves. As consumers and customers, we should be obviously buying fair trade, but we should be saying surely to our supermarkets, shouldn't it be having a higher profile? Shouldn't it be on the top shelf where people can see it? And I have to look. I go and buy fair trade, but I have to look for them. People will buy more if it receives a higher profile. And even in the supermarkets that are committed, I don't feel it's receiving a high enough profile.
I think that's
We've got
somebody here from the co-op who's listening in very, very hard to what you're saying. And we'll go and visit the co-op later on today, Patrick, and talk to somebody there.
Yes. See why you display it at the bottom of the shelf. Because if the business is conscious, we are all in business. You know, people, even when people were in slavery, they were selling each other. An African would catch one and then on the tribe and they sell him off to an Arab and he ends up that was business. But that was not good. The conscience was not there. The humanity was not there. So in every business, there needs to be conscience. Is this fair? My son, if I do something wrong, at the drop of a hat, you say, that is not fair. And he's a small boy. Because fairness is in us. It's what the thing that God put in us. You might try to kill that voice, but you always know this is not fair. I've not been fair. So business needs to be done in a conscious manner where people would want others to have activity in their life. So it is about the choices now the consumer will make. And advocacy. You see that it is not displayed where it is supposed to be, and you are spending your money on it, make some noise. Where is it? Let the others who are coming to buy, where is Fairtrade? I wanted Fairtrade tea. Where is it? So the lady in the supermarket will try to look for it, and she won't want you to create a scene. So she will make sure next time it is where you want it to be, where you can come and be. Don't be complacent, and that is what the big business would want the people to be. They think you don't care. You would want to buy Fairtrade, but they won't want to involve you too much because they think, people don't care about this. They are being bothered. So to avoid bothering you, they'll do things, and maybe, like you said, until people started trading with the businesses in South Africa, that's when the collapse started. Because it was no longer profitable to do business. So it's a conscious choice that you make with the power of the pound in your pocket. And because you are spending your money, make some more noise. I can't see it. I want Fairtrade banana. Where is it in your shelves? I can't find it. And then you mix it. You prompt that retailer to make sure he stocks some next time. And you make it, they'll make the people in the supermarket aware, oh, so I need really to pause, as Mr. Gibby was saying. To take a pause and say, okay, before he picks them, I heard a lady complaining, where is the Fairtrade banana? Okay, now I'll get it today. You create awareness. And people make the right choices with the power of the pound in their pocket. That drives demand. That makes the big business realize it's not so nice to buy Fairtrade tea and not declare the premium. That's a conscious, it's a paradigm shift that we must project to the environment, the business environment. It's a projection of your feeling. You project it positively to the others without invading on the other. We know, you get what I mean. Yeah.
I just say that, sorry. We were talking earlier about if you're going to buy good, there are different means to good. And I think what you've demonstrated is that we do need to continue to get people to think of the ethics as they're buying. But you've actually sold tea as a good, i.e. fashionable, better than a blended tea. And perhaps we're not doing enough to say this is a product that the consumer will want to have because they want the best. And Fairtrade isn't necessarily seen as best. It's seen as good, but not good. We need to do more.
We need to do more. You see, the guy who sells bananas has a better deal than me. And banana is from the plant. You just take care of the pests that might be, you make it safe to come here and not pass some bugs to the environment. You will take the care of the environmental concerns, and then it is to the shelf and to the plate. No kind of processing, you only need the transportation. This is the same banana that left Colombia. It's not there. So tea now goes through processes, a lot of brokers are involved. The value chain is so tight that people profit from it other than the farmer. You find the broker is paid on a percentage of what he's able to sell. Even if the market is doing poorly, he gets a 2% brokerage fee. Of every kilogram you get his percentage. So it doesn't mean the farmer gets everything. The farmer will get the leftovers. The transportation guys will get theirs. The insurance guys will get theirs. But the farmer who plugged it gets the leftovers after everybody else has eaten. That is where now the premium comes to equalize, to level the field for the farmer. This is money that nobody in the chain can touch. It's the farmer himself who will decide, what do I do with this money? People bought my good tea, they paid this premium, what do I do? Now he does things his way and chooses his priorities. That's the beauty of the premium.
We're getting near the point where, go on, Helen.
I was just going to say, I'm probably not a full Fairtrade person. I hate to say that, but I'll admit it. So my commitment today is to always my choice of Fairtrade. That's my commitment. But if everybody's in it's people who aren't here that we need to.
You can also join the Felixstowe Fairtrade Forum. Yeah.
Just to echo on Patrick, can I
This
just-
is
Sharon from the co-op wants to have a...
First of all, I think all our bananas are 100% fair trade. But just regarding the tea, I just wanted to reiterate really what Patrick was saying. It's consumer-led. So where we have responsibility, I suppose, to put things in the store, it's a business. And what you will find that is at eye level are the things that people are buying the most of. So it's the consumers and the public, as you're saying, that need to drive it to change, to make us say, we don't want Twinings on the middle anymore, or Lipton's or something else. Actually, we're buying more of fair trade, so you need to get more fair trade in stock and put that eye level. So what you're saying was absolutely right. One of the things that the Co-op has done this year, which they haven't done before, they've been doing lots of publicity and they've put out a fair trade challenge. So they've been asking people to swap their ordinary tea in the store and to try a fair trade tea. So, but I will certainly, take on board what you were saying.
Finding the stores, the co-op is
finding the products. So
most
you're
involved
absolutely
in
right
fair trade.
about it's the people going there buying it that need to make the noise and say, we want more fair trade. Yeah, where is it?
Thank you. Michael, you were saying something before?
Oh, no, I think we're out of time, also.
Yeah, we're
Well, I keep getting a voice in my ear saying, saying, are you going to thank Patrick? Are you going to, Patrick, thank you. And not just as brief as that, but I think, like Helen, a lot of us here this morning have been converted. I've never seen such passion over making a cup of tea as you have demonstrated. The next time I'm tempted to throw a tea bag in a mug and pour boiling water on it, I will think of you, Patrick, forever. All right? You have been absolutely fascinating to have as a guest. Thank you so very much for all that you've told us. I think we go out of here a lot better educated than when we came in at 7 o'clock this morning. And you've been most welcome in Felixstowe. And I have a little gift for you, so you won't ever forget us.
This is a photo of Patrick.
Why don't you come around here?
It's a great pleasure. You're allowed to kiss them all. Helen will be pleased to see I'm passing on the Felixstowe book, and you'll be able to get a flavour of what Felixstowe's about
Yes,
by looking at the book, and then you won't forget us.
I will never forget
You'll
that.
never forget us. All right. So thank you very, very much
Yeah,
indeed
thank
for
you.
this morning. It's been
Thank you.
absolutely great.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
Thank you.
Asante sana.